Okay, we have a lab coming up, and I thought it would be good to just go over some of the things you need to do. Again, we're going to go to the start of the Canvas course, and you can expect to have readings and resources, a lab prep, and then here's the first lab on Linux systems. And so if you go here, we're going to go to this Linux systems Bitbucket page, and it's going to tell you the things that you need to do. As you answer each question here, put the answer in a text file, and then you're going to go ahead and upload that as the answer for into Canvas. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. If you're on Windows, you're going to use the command terminal. On Macs and Linux, you're going to go ahead and use um, uh, the terminal. So here I am, I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to pull this up, and you should be able to SSH to your username at schizo.cs.byu.edu. I may ask you, are you sure you want to connect to this unknown machine? And you should say yes. And then here we're going to type in our password. And that should take you to this machine. So Schizo, like schizophrenic, is going to connect you to a bunch of different machines. I happen to get connected to a machine called Arches, but it will go ahead and send you to a different machine so that all students are not using the same machine. You'll also notice if you use pwd, it will tell you where the path name is to your particular directory. You can also do ls to see all the files that are in your directory. I have a lot more than you probably have. And so we're just going to go through here. Here's pwd, here's ls. We could create, use make dir cs224, and you're just going to type in exactly what they have in the blue box here and then see what happens. And so you're then going to cd into cs224. Oh, I kind of made a typo here, so I'll cd to that. And now you'll notice that my pwd says I'm in that directory. So it's kind of which folder you're in. I can also say cd to dot dot. Dot dot means the parent directory, and so that takes me back to where I was before. And I can go ahead and see that I'm just in the Clement directory, not in that subdirectory that I just created. So go ahead and you're now going to go ahead and do a git clone. So hopefully you should be able to copy this. It's going to clone this GitHub repository, and I'm feeling they're going to want us to be in this BYU. Let's just go ahead and do it. So you can paste that in here. It'll do the git clone, and it will go ahead and create a bunch of things for you. And at this point, you should have, by the way, this displays the files ls-ltr, displays the file, putting the last one that was accessed at the bottom of your screen. So now we can see this. u-cs labs, we can see what we've got here. Now we can go into this one dash thing. By the way, if you hit tab, it will do completion, so that's kind of nice. And then here's this Linux system thing, so that shows you how to clone something and mess around with it. Looks like they want us to do that right now, though, so let's see what's going to happen. We want to be able to touch a file like lab1.txt. Should be able to do that. And then you can copy it to another file. You can copy it something in a directory to a different spot. You can use move to move files. You can remove files. So these are all just some standard things that you might want to do. You can use nano lab1.txt. Oops. And I mistyped that. So that will go ahead and allow me to edit this text file. You can start typing junk and it will be displayed in there. And you can use your up and down arrows to go up and down. Notice it's going to tell you down here all the stuff you can do. I can now, when I'm done, I can hit Control X to leave, and it will ask me if I want to save it. I can say yes, the name to write it to, and it will go ahead and write it. And now I can say cat lab1.txt, and it will have all that stuff that I just typed into it. So that kind of gives you what you'd like to do. So the next thing it wants you to do is to be able to copy stuff back and forth. So if you noticed back here in our lab that it wanted us to, this is the file we need to download here, so I can go ahead and download that file. At this point, I can see that in my downloads area, this lab1 tar thing. So if I wanted to, I can then bring up another terminal, and I can CD into my downloads area, and I can now SCP this lab1, I'm going to hit tab here, into my Schizo, yikes. And what that'll do is copy this local file from my machine over to the other machine. By the way, if you do that, it just makes a copy onto your local directory. If you notice, it just copied it into another file called that. So since I screwed up, you need to put a colon on the end here. I believe that you're going to find that here in these instructions, that you put that colon on the end. That's a common mistake you might make, since I just did. And then it should, when you get that right, it should go ahead and ask you for your password again. And then it will go ahead and copy it over. I can then, notice here I'm in my home directory, and it copied that file over into my home directory. So at this point, I can extract the directory by saying vf lab1 thing, and it'll go ahead and put it all into this lab1 directory. Okay, so now I should be able to see that I've got this let's see. Stuff in here, and among other things, we're going to have this source.c file, and I can compile this program. So I can say gcc source.c, and it will go ahead and compile it. Now I will have a file called a.out. That's an executable that I can go ahead and run. So I can say .a.out, and I can, it's going to tell me a few things. It wants me to change that file and cause it to do different things. and mess around with pipes. And I'll let you guys go ahead and finish that, but hopefully I got you through most of the hard parts here. If you have more questions, give me a holler and we can talk about it in more detail.